Let me just shift and ask about our challenge in emerging technologies, cyber and space, in particular China's investment in those areas and our eroding advantage. I was struck, Mr. Secretary, by a comment that you make in your written testimony. You say some U.S. companies have voiced ethical qualms about working with DoD to develop advanced technology, in some cases even terminating relationships, often while continuing to work with China. What are we talking about here?
I think we're talking about Google and their support to China and their lack of support to the Department of Defense.
So Google has refused to work with the Department of Defense, actually was under contract, weren't they, with the Department of Defense? Tell us about that.
Well, they haven't refused. They just have said they're not going to continue to do business with the Department of Defense on certain contracts.
But they are doing business in China in a way that benefits, you're saying, our Chinese competitors.
Correct.
Say more about that.
Well, the interesting thing, and this is why this is such an important issue for our country. You know, the fusion of commercial business with military is significant. $5 trillion of their economy is state-owned enterprises. So the technology that is developed in the civil world transfers to the military world. It's a direct pipeline. Not only is there a transfer, there's also systemic theft of U.S. technology that facilitates even faster development of emerging technology.
So I just want to make sure that I understand exactly what you're saying. You're telling me that Google, an American company, supposedly, is refusing to work with the Department of Defense, but is doing work with China in China in a way that at least indirectly benefits the Chinese government. Is that correct?
I haven't heard the word refuse, but there's a lack of willingness to support DoD programs.
General, you're nodding your head. Do you want to weigh in on this?
No, Senator, I'm nodding your head on exactly the point that you made, that the work that Google is doing in China is indirectly benefiting the Chinese military. And I've been very public on this issue as well. In fact, the way I described it to our industry partners is, look, we're the good guys. In the values that we represent, in the system that we represent, is the one that will allow and has allowed you to thrive, and that's the way I've characterized it. So I was just nodding that what the Secretary was articulating is a general sense of all of us as leaders, and we watch with great concern when industry partners work in China, knowing that there is that indirect benefit. In fact, frankly, indirect may be not a full characterization of the way it really is. It's more of a direct benefit to the Chinese military.